everyone, and welcome. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Tonight, we have updates from several of our correspondents across the U.S. Elmarie Gonzalez in South Haven reports about Mississippi extending support and assistance to Alabama State in response to Hurricane Sally. Carlo Valdez in Union Township reports about New Jersey's millionaires getting hit with millionaire's tax. Chai Masaga in Waldorf, Maryland.
Maryland to see significant decrease in individual insurance rates under Affordable Care Act.
Melissa Allen in Lakeland, Florida reports about unemployment benefits for Floridians to be reduced. Flo Riea in Austin, Texas reports about Austin-Travis County extending its COVID-19 safety orders through December 15. Frendel Verheeren in Seattle, Washington.
Washington State Department of Health publishes COVID-19 case investigation and contact tracing data.
Julianne Docena in Las Vegas, Nevada.
A spike in COVID-19 cases is projected in Las Vegas after President Trump's rally.
JP Era in Sacramento, California reports about President Trump visiting the fire-ravaged western U.S. Daniel Glenn Sekulis in West Hills, California.
Electric train system at the Los Angeles International Airport targets to open for passenger service in 2023.
Keisha Rose Labanon in Santa Clarita, California.
Los Angeles County launches a sidewalk vending program to support small businesses of vendors.
Plus, for EBC Sports, Melissa Potis in Orlando reports about the Nuggets crushing the Clippers in Game 7 and facing the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. But first, an overview of the COVID-19 situation. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, September 17, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 29,900,000. Top three countries with the most number of recorded cases are the U.S. with 6.6 million, India with 5.1 million, and Brazil with 4.4 million. Sadly, this virus has claimed more than 942,000 lives worldwide. Top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are once again the U.S. at more than 197,000, Brazil at more than 134,000, and India at more than 83,000. Our coverage begins now. We begin with Hurricane Sally. Tropical Storm Sally has downed trees, flooded streets and homes, and knocked out power, reportedly killing one person as it pounded the U.S. southeast with torrential rain. The storm made landfall Wednesday morning near Gulf Shores, Alabama, along the border with Florida as a Category 2 hurricane. The National Hurricane Center said slow-moving Sally, which was subsequently downgraded to a tropical storm, then lingered over parts of southern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle, where it caused severe flooding with copious amounts of rain. The NHC warned catastrophic and life-threatening flooding continues over portions of the Florida Panhandle and southern Alabama. In Mississippi, Elmarie Gonzalez shares with us how the state extends support and assistance to Alabama in response to the catastrophe. Take a look.
Hello from South Haven, Mississippi. On Wednesday, Hurricane Sally made landfall near Gulf Shores, Alabama at 4:45 a.m. CDT with maximum sustained winds at 105 miles per hour and a minimum central pressure of 965 millibars. Sally will produce additional rainfall throughout the afternoon, ranging from 8 to 12 inches, with localized higher amounts possibly inland of the central Gulf Coast of Tallahassee, Florida, to Mobile Bay, Alabama. Storm totals of 10 to 20 inches to isolated amounts of 35 inches are expected, producing historic and catastrophic flooding and moderate to major river flooding. Sally will run its course along the southeast United States through Friday. Although the tropical storm warning was discontinued west of the Mississippi border, a hurricane warning continues east of the Mississippi and Alabama border to Okaloosa and Walton County in Florida. On On Sunday, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves had issued a state of emergency ahead of Hurricane Sally, which President Trump quickly approved, also issuing a declaration for parts of Louisiana and Alabama. Harrison County lifted its mandatory evacuation order at 5 p.m. with shelter shutdowns beginning Wednesday, September 16. Emergency Management Director Rupert Lacey stated, "We are asking everyone to stay home tonight if they can. As we try to resume normal activities on Wednesday, be mindful that high wind gusts, severe rain, and extremely high tides are possible. And remember to turn around if you see water crossing the road." During a news conference held on Tuesday at the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency office in Jackson, Governor Reeves delivered updates on the state's plan of action ahead of the storm. He also announced that the state of Mississippi will be extending its support and assistance to the state of Alabama in response to Hurricane Sally. In a Twitter post Tuesday, Governor Reeves stated, "In times of crisis, it's all about neighbor helping neighbor. Mississippi stands with Alabama as we work to weather this storm and any other storm that comes our way." In response to the help from Mississippi, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey stated on Twitter, "We are fortunate we can always rely on our neighbors to help us in times of need." Meanwhile, Ace, hope you are staying safe there in your part of the country. In South Haven, Mississippi, I am Elmer Gonzalez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you for that report, Elmarie. Please stay safe out there. And meanwhile, in New Jersey, the state millionaires are getting hit with millionaire's tax. In Union Township, Bureau Chief Carlo Valdez tells us why.
Thanks, Alan. Good to see you again. Governor Phil Murphy and the Democratic leaders have reached an agreement to raise taxes for the millionaires in New Jersey. Here's what the governor had to say.
We know that over the course of this pandemic, and frankly before it began, that our middle class needed help, and that countless families working hard to achieve their middle class dreams needed an extra push. And while we continue to work together on the final pieces of what the next state budget will ultimately look like, today we are proud to stand together to announce that our promise to help the middle class and those striving to join it is a promise that will be kept. First and foremost, I'm proud to announce that we are in agreement that the new budget will include the restoration of the millionaire's tax. As I noted in my budget address just 3 weeks ago, we do not hold any grudge at all against those who have been successful in life. But in this unprecedented time when so many middle-class families and others have sacrificed so much, now is the time to ensure that the wealthiest among us are also called to sacrifice. And literally, by the way, pennies on their top dollars earned is a modest ask.
Included in the deal, which was announced on Thursday, is that New Jersey will give $500 tax rebates to low and middle income families to help in this pandemic and economic crisis. These rebates are not expected until next summer, 2021. And as for coronavirus stats and numbers, New Jersey reports of 617 new positive COVID-19 cases, pushing the total to 198,361. Sadly, New Jersey is reporting 3 new COVID-19 deaths, pushing the total to 14,266 lives lost. In Union Township, New Jersey, Carlo Valdez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Thank you, Carlo. And now we have a bit of good news for Marylanders. The state is to see a significant decrease in individual insurance rates under the Affordable Care Act, or ACA. In Waldorf, Eagle News correspondent Chai Masaka has the details.
Thank you, Alan. Thanks to the state reinsurance program that has stabilized Maryland's individual insurance market, An 11.9% decrease in insurance rates is assured effective January 1, 2021. This is the third consecutive year Maryland will see a significant decrease in individual insurance rates under the Affordable Care Act. Maryland Insurance Commissioner Kathleen Beran approved the drop in the premium rate, saying Marylanders benefit from this rate relief. Beran added that Maryland's approach, through the leadership of Governor Larry Hogan, makes the state's individual insurance market a blueprint for other states. There was a 13.2% insurance rate decrease in 2019, while 10.3% for 2020. Governor Hogan's office says the 3-year cumulative is a rate decrease of 31.4% from its previous rate in 2018. The lower premium rates stem from the implementation of the state-based reinsurance program through a legislation which called for the state's submission of state innovation waiver under Section 1332 of the Affordable Care Act. The Medicare and Medicaid services approved in 2018 the waiver of certain federal requirements by making Maryland the 7th state to implement a state reinsurance program to lower health insurance premiums. The waiver and the legislation provided reinsurance proof for funding to answer the catastrophic claims of Maryland's policyholders in the individual market. According to Hogan, this innovative program makes health care more affordable and brings more stability and peace of mind to Marylanders, while it serves as model for the rest of the nation. Actuaries from the Maryland Insurance Administration reviewed data, methodologies, and assumptions before they approve, modify, or deny proposed or requested rates by insurance companies. They also consider public comments and other relevant factors before the administration could come up with insurance rate decisions. In Waldorf, Maryland, Chagga, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Chai, how did the decrease in insurance rates impact your own health insurance premium and coverage?
Well, you know, Alan, my family and I, we have a good health insurance plan. My insurance company charge a very minimal premium rate and compared to other rates imposed by other insurance companies. So even before this decrease was implemented, we're enjoying a very low premium rate, Alan. So I don't think this decreased insurance rates have made a significant change or effect in our insurance rate or health coverage. Our premium rate is still low. Our coverage really meets our health needs and of my family. And there are so many health providers we can choose from who is available to provide any medical assistance. So we really have no complaints, Alan. Decrease or no decrease on the premium rate. Alan?
Well, that's good to hear, and we do wish all Marylanders good health and good health insurance as well. Thank you for the report, Chai.
Thank you, Alan.
When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Lakeland, Florida, Austin, Texas, and Seattle, Washington. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Hello there, I'm Alfred, and I'm a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, batch of 2008 in New Era University. I'm currently working as an operations analyst in Autodesk.
Hi, I'm Earl Escanio, and I graduated with Bachelor of Science major in Computer Science in 2010. I am a consultant at Trinity Consulting, LLC.
Hi, I'm Ivy Macapagal, Bachelor's in Computer Science graduate, year 2010. I'm currently working as a cybersecurity analyst in one of the largest telco here in New Zealand, Coast Park NZ.
I'm Frank David Riego, a BS Computer Science graduate here in 2015. As a legal analyst, I am tasked to read U.S. cases, specifically civil torts cases.
I am Melanie Rico Hermosa P., a Bachelor of Science and Computer Science graduate, year 2006.
I'm currently a software quality assurance engineer at FBI Systems here in Maryland, United States.
Hi, I'm Renzo Cruz. I'm a graduate of BS Computer Science, year 2012. I'm currently working abroad, and I'm working as a senior cybersecurity consultant who specializes in digital forensics and incident response. And I am part of a national security in one of the countries here in the Middle East.
I am inviting everyone to study at New Era University to legit, to grit.
Be brilliant in the new era.
Study now at New Era University.
Excellence,
Discipline,
Service to humanity.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles, California. For jobless Floridians, unemployment benefits are to be reduced. Eagle News correspondent Melissa Allen has the details.
Jobless Floridians are bracing themselves for the impending reduction in unemployment benefits as the federal Lost Wages Assistance Program is slated to end after the fourth and final week of benefit payouts. Eligible applicants of the federal program have been able to receive $300 per week on top of state unemployment insurance. Florida state-level unemployment benefits, however, max out at $275 per week and rank as one of the lowest compensation amounts in the country. The Sunshine State also has one of the shortest durations of unemployment insurance coverage among all 50 states. According to the latest unemployment data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the state of Florida's most recently calculated unemployment rate of 11.3% ranks among the nation's top 10 highest. Despite the high unemployment rate, the Florida job market has some bright spots on the horizon. According to the Conference Board Help Wanted Online Index, the measures of labor demand indicate that the number of open jobs in Florida is increasing. Several big-name companies have recently announced hiring sprees in the state of Florida, including Carvana, the online used car retailer, which is planning to offer hundreds of jobs in the Central Florida region this year, as well as the online retail giant Amazon, which will hire 1,300 new workers in South Florida. The UCF Institute for Economic Forecasting projects that it will likely be 2022 before Florida's business payrolls reach their pre-pandemic levels, but that the pace of the state's job market will outperform the recovery of the national labor market. In Lakeland, Florida, Melissa Allen, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
COVID-19 safety protocols have been extended until December 15 in the counties of Austin and Travis in Texas.
Thank you for having me, and howdy to you as well from the Lone Star State. Here in Austin Travis County, city officials are taking the needed precautions to prevent further spread of the COVID-19 virus. The stay home mask and otherwise be safe order has been extended for another 3 months, set to expire on December 15th, 2020. As of August 25th, the city of Austin Travis County is on stage 3 of the Austin Public Health APH COVID-19 risk-based guidelines. Citizens are still required to use face coverings, practice social distancing, and limit social gatherings of groups of more than 10 people outside of their own household. Higher risk individuals, such as individuals aged 65 and above or those who are immunocompromised, are being asked to avoid non-essential travel, dining, and shopping in order to lower the risk of contracting the virus. In addition to these guidelines, good hygiene practices are highly recommended and encouraged, such as proper hand washing and using alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Austin Travis County Interim Health Authority, Dr. Mark Escott, states, "We are moving on stage 3 because our key indicators are trending in the right directions." Austin Mayor Steve Adler states, "We are not out of the woods. COVID-19 infectivity is still too high, especially in the Hispanic community. We need to work together to get infectivity down across our entire city. If we want to stay safe, reopen, we must keep social distancing, washing our hands, and wearing our masks." Meanwhile, I hope you are staying safe and healthy over there in your part of the country. In Austin, Texas, I'm Flo Rillera. Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you in the studios.
And we certainly hope you're staying safe there as well, Flo. Thank you. The Washington State Department of Health publishes its COVID-19 case investigation and contact tracing metrics. In Seattle, Bureau Chief Frendel Fajaran reports.
Thank you so much, Alan. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic did not birth the concepts of case investigation and contact tracing. In fact, these strategies have been used for decades by public health experts around the world to contain the spread of diseases like Ebola, HIV, and tuberculosis. A few months ago, the state government has launched these same strategies to help combat COVID-19 by slowing the spread of the disease using case investigation and contact tracing strategies. Just today, the Department of Health releases its first case investigation and metrics to contact tracing performance efforts. These data will now be available for the public view via PDF and updated weekly, which is extremely great. The most recent week available from August 30th to September 5th, which shows that the Department of Health reached 49% of cases within 1 day of receiving a positive COVID-19 test result. 70% of cases contacts within 2 days of receiving a positive COVID-19 test result. Today's data is represented by the work done by the Department of Health centralized group of investigators. Bear in mind that the DOH is collaborating with local health jurisdictions to develop a system that would consistently and efficiently gather data from all counties and qualify reporting of the state's metrics. The shared goal is to reach 90% of cases and 80% of contacts within 1 and 2 days of receiving a positive COVID-19 test result. These are the ideal goals, and the DOH expect to see improvement as time passes, affording the DOH to refine their processes for successfully contacting people. Unanswered calls seem to be one of the main reasons why the metrics are where they are today. Now, the Secretary of Health, John Wiesman, reiterates that participation can stop the spread of COVID-19, which helps keep our families and communities safe and paving the way for people to go back to work and safely getting our children back to school. Now, Alan, to help paint the picture of where we are in the Safe Start plan, I'm going to give a brief update on the amount of counties in each of our 4 phases. Based on the Washington State Coronavirus Response official website, Safe Start plan, which was updated just September 14. In phase 1, there are 5 counties. One would be Chelan. Phase 2, 17 counties. To name a few, it's King County, Kitsap, Pierce, Snohomish. In phase 3, there are 17 counties. To name a few, Island, Mason, and Thurston. In phase 4, unfortunately, there are no counties yet in phase 4. Now, as Washingtonians unite and comply, there's no doubt that the counties will continue to move towards phase 4. Contact tracing and case investigation is essential for the state's progression. Let's support one another, update our contact information, and respond to the calls from the case investigators. Seattle, Washington, Frendel Fajaran, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Frendel, we did hear you say that some of the problems is there's unanswered calls. I know I, for one, if I get a call on my phone, I don't recognize the number, I probably won't pick up. Can you tell us some more? What are some of these barriers to contact tracing efforts?
Perfect. Thank you for the question, Alan. So like you said, yes, unanswered calls, and it's not to our surprise, because when we do have an unfamiliar number, we're not apt to answering, but they would leave a message. And there are other means of contacting as well. For example, emails and things of that nature. So they're asking everyone to just make sure that, you know, for the sake of our safety and for the community, update your contact information, you know, and make sure that you return the calls, because this is essential to our progression to phase 4 of our Safe Start plan.
Right, so it's everyone's responsibility to be accountable and update their information, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Now, you did talk about approval in counties. Can approval be revoked if circumstances in that county change?
The short answer, yes, Ellen, it can change. It all depends on the circumstances within their jurisdictions, such as significant outbreak or no minimal access to COVID-19 testing, no surge capacity in area hospitals, inadequate PPE supplies, or inadequate case and contact investigation. So there's a lot of factors that they have to look at. So one county can go from phase 3 back to phase 2. But as a collective, of course, our goal is to move forward and to stay forward. And for that to happen, Alan, we all have to play our part.
And then you did mention that no counties are in stage 4 yet, correct? What are you looking forward to once stage 4 starts popping up in your different counties, maybe in the county that you're in?
I guess, to be honest, probably go back to the movies. I mean, I'm surprised I'm saying this now, but I'm pretty hopeful and I'm trusting a lot more with the people around me, because I do see everyone do their part in applying these special measures as far as face coverings and physical distancing. So I can't wait to go back to the movies and to be outdoors with more than 5 people. We miss our family and our friends all over the state. I guess just, the feel of normalcy is what we're looking forward to.
And I couldn't agree with you more. I want the butter to flow and the popcorn to pop. Can't wait to go to the movies as well. Thank you so much for your report.
Thank you.
Up next, updates from our correspondents in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Sacramento, and West Hills, California. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
The New Era University, in its 45th year of excellence, discipline, and service to humanity, will offer online education all levels beginning this first semester academic year 2020 to 2021 through the NEU Virtual Learning Environment, or NEU VLE. New Era University offers a complete basic education cycle from kindergarten up to senior high school, offering all strands. NEU has 18 colleges, and 2 graduate schools. It also offers ALS and ETF. Best of all, NEU has the most affordable tuition fees among private universities in the Philippines. NEU is at Quezon City, the city of San Fernando, Pampanga, General Santos City, South Cotabato, Lipa City, Batangas, and Pinugay, Baras, Rizal. New Era University is under the stewardship of Dr. Dilo L. Rosas. What are you waiting for? Be part of the new normal. Enroll now. Classes start on October 5, 2020.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basagoyahe in Los Angeles. A spike in COVID-19 cases is projected in Las Vegas after President Donald Trump's rally. Eagle News correspondent Julianne Docena joins us tonight.
Thank you, Alan. According to the COVID-19 Mitigation and Management Task Force, Clark County, where Las Vegas sits, continues to meet 2 out of 3 elevated disease transmission criteria, but our numbers were headed in the right direction. The 7-day average number of COVID-19 cases was in the downward trend in the past 2 weeks from 268 to 105. Our positivity rate on a 7-day average was also down to 7.9% from 9.9% compared to 2 weeks ago. This past Sunday, President Donald Trump held an indoor rally southeast of Las Vegas at a manufacturing warehouse in Henderson, despite the state's mandate to limit gatherings to 50 people. According to a press release from the office of Governor Steve Sisolak, President Trump was to hold rallies at airport hangars in Reno and Las Vegas, but local governments canceled both events as it would violate the state's mandated capacity limit. According to a statement from Governor Sisolak, the indoor event was attended by thousands of supporters of the president. He condemned President Trump for recklessly disregarding the directives of limiting gathering size, mandating face coverings, and practicing social distancing for his own gain. Governor Sisolak added, and I quote, "It's also a direct threat to all of the recent progress we've made and could potentially set us back." Health officials predict that Nevada, specifically Clark County, will have a spike in the number of COVID-19 cases and even deaths following this indoor rally, just like what happened in Oklahoma in June 2020. Here's the latest on our COVID statistics for the state of Nevada as of 10 a.m. on September 16, 2020. The total number of cases is over 74,500. Sadly, the number of deaths is now at 1,506. In Las Vegas, Julianne DeSena, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Now, Julianne, why is it a big concern for people to hold big gatherings, especially in Vegas?
Right. Well, you know, as a Las Vegas local, I could vouch for the fact that Vegas is a city that loves gathering, and we do still get a lot of visitors. And so when you take events into consideration, including the Labor Day gatherings that we recently had, and then adding on top of that the Trump rally, of course, and then adding on top of that the anticipated gatherings that we're going to have for the Raiders game, even that's coming up, you know, there's a big concern that there could be a spike in COVID-19 cases, not just here in Las Vegas, but even in the hometowns of the visitors we're still getting. So it is a big concern among health professionals, and you know, it's something that we need to worry about as far as that standpoint. But you know, Vegas loves gatherings, and so that's why it is a concern when it comes to gatherings like that. Back to you.
I kind of want to touch upon that, about the big gatherings in Vegas, because Julianne, as a lot of Eagle News viewers know, you are a correspondent that's out there in the big conventions in Vegas, in those big kinds of gatherings. And I want to ask you, you know, now that the huge gatherings don't exist and like these big conventions in Vegas, do you find yourself missing it? Because before it was just such a big hustle and bustle of all these people crowded together. But are you looking forward to these big like conventions at the Las Vegas Convention Center to resume?
Well, you know, that's a very interesting topic because, of course, like you mentioned, we love going to those conventions. As reporters, we love to, you know, share what we learn because there is so much to learn when people gather. And here in Vegas, like I mentioned, it's a city that loves gatherings, you know, from family reunions to business retreats to business conventions and conferences. Like whole industries actually do come here to Las Vegas and hold those conventions, like you mentioned. And so as not just a local, but someone who has attended that for the sake of sharing what I learned, you know, with the public, it is something that I truly do miss. Of course, it's so exciting to know that those gatherings or those conventions specifically are coming back. And of course, I miss them. But at the same time, you know, knowing how close we get to each other in those conventions and those conferences, I see why it poses a risk. And I do understand why we need to kind of postpone them. And so, you know, I'm supportive of that. In that sense, and I see all sides of the issue, and so with that in mind, you know, I can wait. I do miss it, but I can wait. So we'll be excited when it's safe enough to go back. I can say that much.
And probably part of the way they can make it safe is they have rules of limiting the number of attendees at big gatherings like that. I want to ask you, would it dull the essence or the spirit of the convention if there were less attendees that were allowed to go there?
You know, as having attended so many different ones, you know, like there's not just technology ones or like what the big popular ones are. There's really so many, anywhere from like baking to cooking to technology, electronics, specifically like computers or cars, or, you know, there's so many different types. But to be honest, I think what makes them special is the camaraderie that we bring to it and the passion that people have for those specific industries and businesses. And so I think even if there's maybe less people, I think the ambiance and the spirit of the event could still be just as great as if there was, thousands still there. Of course, when there are thousands there, it is very packed. And so I would imagine that there could be a fear if they allowed that many people to even go. But, knowing that there's less, I don't think will impact it that much, having been to those places, because there really is that sense of passion. As you just even walk around, you can feel how much people love being there. And I think that's enough to still make it like very successful events.
And, Julianne, I don't know if you noticed, you probably did. I let slip a little bit. I was trying to say the Las Vegas Convention Center. I let slip Los Angeles Convention Center because that's where I live. I don't know about you, but even in the Los Angeles Convention Center, when I go in before, because media, a lot of times they have to set up before big conventions, there's a smell, a specific smell at my convention center that I say, I'm back. There's just, the doors are about to open. I can smell, the type of carpet that's in the convention center. I can even smell the energy that's just bubbling beneath the surface. Is that true also for where you're at?
I would have to say yes, actually. It's funny that you mentioned that because I think it's when you experience it over and over and over again, you already know what you're anticipating and you already know what you're expecting, basically. And I would have to say, I don't know if I can even describe the smell, but I do agree because, you do, what you're going to experience as soon as you go there. And that's something exciting because with those scents, right, you have the scent and you have that feeling. With those feelings, I think comes the excitement that you are going to learn something new, that you are going to be inspired by something, and that you get to share that with the world. So yeah, as media, I do think, having experienced it so much, that there is that special smell and there is that special feeling that we feel and that we experience when we do go to these conventions.
Last question before we let you go. If in case Las Vegas opens up to these big conventions before Los Angeles does, do you need any help to carry your camera bag around?
I would say yes. Yes, of course, the more the merrier when we have crews, it is possible to do things alone, but it is much easier to do things as a team, and it's much more fun to do things as a team. So if you'd like to join us here in Las Vegas for one of these conventions, whenever it's safe enough to reopen, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Please expect to receive a text from me in case that happens. Thank you for chatting with us, Julianne.
Thank you, Alan.
President Donald Trump earlier this week visited California to assess the damage brought by the wildfires. In Sacramento, JP Era has more.
Here in Sacramento, we currently have a total number of 20,660 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. As wildfires continue to ravage the western part of the United States, President Trump made a visit here to the very capital of California, Sacramento. He met with California Governor Gavin Newsom, where Newsom confronted Trump on how these wildfires are due to the ever-changing climate. Although Newsom's and Trump's view on climate change differ, the discussion that ensued between them during the meeting was that of a respectful conversation on the subject. Newsom declared recently that there was no patience for those who deny climate change, but while talking with President Trump this past week, he said that they can agree to disagree. While Newsom sees and believes the science that climate change is real, President Trump declared that science doesn't actually know and that it will just start getting cooler. Since the beginning of this coronavirus pandemic, the state has been heavily reliant on aid from the federal government to be able to properly respond and handle this crisis. Now, with these wildfires devastating the West Coast, the state has been applying and needing more assistance from the federal government. Because of this, Newsom has been less critical of Trump to ensure that the relationship between the president and the state are in good standing to continue to receive aid from the government in these times of need. With the entire West Coast battling these calamities, along with the entire country still battling this virus, the events of today are a grim snapshot of a possible future without immediate change. We should strive to continue educating one another and ourselves on climate change. With environmental changes happening rapidly, efforts can still be made to reshape our planet for the better. In Sacramento, JP Era, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Discussing with a local official at a briefing on wildfires ravaging the U.S. West, President Trump suggested that global warming will reverse itself, saying the climate will start getting cooler. The official, Wade Crowfoot, the head of the California Natural Resources Agency, responded, "I wish science agreed with you." Thanks, JP. Meanwhile, an electric train system at the Los Angeles International Airport is targeted to open for service in the year 2023. In West Hills, Daniel Glensukulis reports.
Thank you, Alan. Electric train system at the Los Angeles International Airport targets to open for passenger service in 2023. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti tweeted, "Even during the pandemic, our work continues to build a stronger, more sustainable infrastructure for LA. Exciting to see the progress on the automated people mover, an electric train coming to LAX airport that will connect passengers to terminals and transportation for free." Residents here in Los Angeles are well aware of the heavy traffic experienced going to and from the Los Angeles International Airport, or LAX for short, and the accompanying stress involved of moving from one terminal to another. To streamline the public's experience while being environmentally friendly, the city proposed the Automated People Mover, or APM, which is an electrical train system on a 2.25-mile elevated pathway with 6 stations. Construction began last year in 2019, with most work scheduled to be done by the middle of 2022. The target opening year is 2023 for passenger service. The first concrete was just put down last weekend, about 1,000 yards, for the first part of the 2.25-mile elevated guideway of this APM project. According to LAWA, or the Los Angeles World Airports, the Automated People Mover will have 9 trains with 4 cars each, operating during the busy hours of 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Each car of the train is fully electric and will hold a maximum of 50 people with their luggage. One APM train can transport up to 200 passengers. It will also feature large, wide doors for comfort and easy access by the passengers. The APM will ease the current congestion of the traffic on the city highways as well as reduce air pollution. LAWA Chief Executive Officer Justin Urbachi stated, "Our vision for the LAX is taking shape, and the changing landscape serves as a reminder that our future remains bright. We are reimagining every step of the airport journey and now can start to see how our automated people mover train will provide an exciting new way for our guests and employees to get to and from LAX." In West Hills, California, Daniel Glensukulis, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Glenn, the automated people mover has that sleek new century design. How much will the passenger need to pay to use the electric train system, and how effective will this be for the city of Los Angeles?
You know, Alan, there are high expectations for this train. As you might as well know, LAX is the 3rd busiest airport in the world, and it's anticipating around 30 million people to annually use this train system once it becomes fully operational in 2023. The APM will not only alleviate the congestion of foot and car traffic, but also alleviate the anxiety and stress levels of people trying to make their way to LAX. And the best thing ever is that it's free. There's no charge for public to use, and it runs every 2 minutes, every peak hour, with 10 minutes in total travel time.
Now, Glenn, you mentioned the stress, kind of the frustration of being in that congestion going to LAX, but that's almost a rite of passage for people who live in Los Angeles County.
That's right.
But when this automated people mover is actually in operation, is that something you're looking forward to trying out, or will you stick to finding whatever method you're using right now to go to the airport?
You know, any way to make travel easier in LA, to get to LAX especially, I'm for it. I'm game. So I do definitely plan on utilizing the train once it becomes available.
Well, I'll be a passenger right next to you because, I'm not interested in all of that congestion there. Thank you so much for the report.
Thank you.
Updates from Santa Clarita, California and Orlando, Florida. That's next. Eagle News America will return in a moment. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. In support of small business vendors, Los Angeles County launches a sidewalk vending program. In Santa Clarita, Keisha Rose Lebanon reports.
Thank you, Alan. Los Angeles County launches a new sidewalk vending pilot program to support small businesses as sidewalk vendors. The Los Angeles Board of Supervisors approved a formal proposal by District 1 County Supervisor Hilda Solis for a pilot program that encourages public safety while providing economic opportunities for sidewalk businesses. Supervisor Hilda Solis stated, quote, sidewalk vendors and small brick motor businesses and are entrepreneurs who sustain and drive our local economy, and there is room for both. As a former U.S. Secretary of Labor, I value the entrepreneurial spirit of sidewalk vendors and small businesses. Today's action recognizes that outdoor commerce allows people to earn a livelihood and especially helps immigrant women move toward economic independence. My board motion identifies a pathway that safeguards public health while encouraging all businesses to grow and thrive. Now, sidewalk vendors are among the small businesses in Los Angeles that have been greatly impacted financially by the pandemic. The state Safe Sidewalk Vending Act, or SB 946, identifies a sidewalk vendor as a person who sells food or even merchandise from a pushcart, stand, display, pedal-driven cart, wagon, or a rack propped up on a sidewalk. The approved motion instructs county departments to prepare for the implementation of the sidewalk vending program in various areas of Los Angeles and to provide the education and assistance needed for these small businesses to operate safely and effectively. It calls for the organization of a county streets ambassador program in collaboration with other community groups to assist the sidewalk vendors in complying with current public health guidelines. In addition, the motion directs the county to promote street vending businesses association to allocate $1 million funding to establish this program and an update report on the pilot program after 30 days or so for a more permanent one can be established. Doug Smith, the supervising senior staff attorney at Public Counsel, said this program not only supports those hit hardest by the pandemic, but it moves the region towards a more inclusive and equitable small business economy, which is a key ingredient in a recovery. In Santa Clarita, California, Keisha Rose Lebanon, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Now, Keisha, have you seen sidewalk vendors in your area? And if so, what were some of the items they were selling?
Yes, Alan. Actually, I have. I think most of us have seen it too. I've seen a lot here in Santa Clarita and even in LA. I've seen people selling face masks. There's also people selling fruits and even flowers. But I would say my most favorite one that I've seen would have to be in LA. It's a place called Dollar Hits. I mean, they should qualify as a sidewalk vendor because the grill is outside on the sidewalk and that's where you grill your food. Right, Alan? Wouldn't you count that as a street vendor?
Well, they're certainly cooking on the street. Well, you can't leave us like that, Keisha. What do they cook there that makes it the place to go to?
So what they cook there is just basically all sorts of meats, particularly Filipino type of marinated meat, and it's just on skewers. So what you do is you just take your skewer that has meat on it and you just grill it on the sidewalk. I mean on the grill, sorry.
Well, it certainly sounds tasty. Now, you did say, of course, you live in Santa Clarita. I know that there's also some food trucks out there, and some are like these mystery food trucks. If you're going to get an invite to go a mystery food truck, shopping, I should say, would you go for it? And do you know of any food trucks out there?
In Santa Clarita, there's one here particular that's well known, and it comes like on a Wednesday. And I just know that I personally haven't tried it, but I know it's a Korean fusion place where they sell like Korean burritos, Korean tacos, and I've heard like it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it might be worth hunting down this little the rumored Korean fusion truck that's maybe just circling around Santa Clarita. And so, last question, Keisha. I did see the videos that you're showing, very mouth-watering stuff. If you had to open your own type of sidewalk vendor food place to eat, what would your specialty be?
That's kind of hard, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't know exactly what I would. I think I would just do something simple, something easy, something that everybody could use, especially out here in Santa Clarita, and that would be bottled water.
Yes, Keisha Rose Labanon selling bottled water to people on the streets. I think the line would be miles long. Keisha, thank you so much for your report.
Thank you, Alan.
And now we go on to the NBA. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic dominate Game 7 as the Nuggets crush the Clippers. The Nuggets face the Lakers at the Western Conference Finals. EBC sports correspondent Melissa Potes has the details.
There ain't no mountain mile high enough for the Denver Nuggets as they climb their way back from a 3-1 deficit to win their series against the LA Clippers. The dominant duo of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic gave a great birthday present to their head coach, Michael Malone.
So proud. I mean, all the guys committed, never got down, believed in each other, believed in themselves. In light of all the noise outside of this series that we had no chance, we had people guaranteeing it, and we found a way to beat a really good team 3 times. And I've run out of things to say, that, Katie, but Jamal Murray, 40 points in a Game 7. Nikola Jokic, a triple-double in Game 7. And our defense, that's a common thread here. And both come from behind series wins. Utah, now the Clippers. I thought our defense the last 3 games was just incredible. We have a special group. We still have a lot of work to do. Western Conference Finals. We know we're playing a very talented and well-rested Laker team. But I do know this. Our guys are up for that challenge.
We know what we got. And when we're all clicking, when we're making shots like that and playing defense together, we're a top 4 team, top 3 team in the league. And we're trying to prove to be the number 1. And we got to go against the Lakers and fight that series. But we've been doing this. I don't know how many times we got to prove it over. We've been doing this, and we have the talent to do it. And we're only going to get better. MPJ's not even starting yet. Will's not even here. So, like I said, we got a squad, and we just believe in each other, and we know we can go out there and win it.
I mean, it's just fun, the journey. 3-1 Utah, 3-1 Clippers. We come back. Like I said, I had a really, I wanted to say something before the game, like whatever we do, I'm going to remember this team. But I didn't because this is a really interesting team. We don't have a first pick. We don't have any kind of superstars. Everybody is working to get where they're at. So, and we just when we won the game, I felt just relief of we did it. So it was a good feeling.
Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Nuggets and the Lakers begins Friday. In Orlando, Florida, Melissa Potes, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
And we just wanted to give a special greeting to one of our youngest Eagle News viewers, Aisha Narvaez, who is celebrating her 6th birthday. And, Aisha, your father, Chris, just wants to wish you a very special day. And we also want to thank Chris for directing our broadcast tonight. And now, before we go, we would just like to talk about this sports update for the NBA, because, the LA Clippers have been eliminated. But some of us here in Los Angeles did have it in our hearts to see the Los Angeles Clippers and the Los Angeles Lakers battle it out for the Western Conference Finals. And so I want to ask some of our Los Angeles County crew here. Glenn, please chime in. How do you feel about that? Is your heart broken, or are you okay with it? Okay, I think Glenn's might be muted right now. I'm going to give him a chance to answer, but then I'm going to go to Keisha because you live in LA County. So Keisha, are you a basketball fan or are you okay with the Clippers not showing up in the Western Conference Finals?
I am a basketball fan, and particularly I am a Laker fan. So the fact that Clippers didn't get to face the Lakers, I have mixed feelings about it. You know, I feel, first of all, I'm going to say I'm happy because they do play really, really well, and it's kind of scary. I don't know what the outcome of that series would be. But also, you know, I don't know. I feel like it would have been nice to have the Lakers play against them, especially with, you know, Kawhi and Paul George turning down to play for the Lakers. So that would have been interesting to see. But I mean, I'm happy. At least we get to play a really good team still.
Glenn, what about you? Do you agree with Keisha, or what are your thoughts on the matter?
You know, I think it would have been pretty nice to see two LA teams go head-to-head. It was a little bit disappointing for me because I would love seeing that matchup.
Right, and you know, I would go ahead and ask our other correspondents on the list tonight, but I already know their answer. They're just happy that the Los Angeles Lakers will be going to the finals. No need to respond, correspondents. I know what you're feeling just by the looks on your faces. But what I will ask is that every one of us continue to join together to thank our frontliners, first responders, and essential workers with a round of applause. We appreciate you. That is today's Eagle News America. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Basoyahe. We live in interesting times.